entirety of NFL and college. And, of course, we welcome in Major League Baseball's playoffs starting tomorrow. What a good time, right? As we begin to see it all bubble up, man. Hockey starts. Ready to roll with that. I know that's on the back burner for most, but our Bolts getting set here. Is that tomorrow?
Next week is when it starts.
Season starts,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. They're going through their preseason national broadcast to get through the bugs.
Yeah, so that is happening now. The NBA is 12 days away as well, and then you have. It's crazy.
All right, yeah.
No, I'm excited. I am.
I know your house is. Yeah.
Yeah, we watch.
Your young men love the hell out of the NBA.
It's done a lot for me, by the way. I love college basketball. I'm a college basketball guy. I have been for a long time. I like the NBA, and through periods of my life, there were times that I absolutely adored it. Growing up, especially, I loved the NBA. I didn't even care about college basketball as a kid. I watched the NBA every week. The Sunday game, the Saturday game, I couldn't wait. Those great Celtics-Lakers rivalries and all that, I loved it. But then, I got into all the sports that I was playing at that time. And so you just didn't have time. I was playing football, basketball, baseball, and tennis and soccer and track and all that. You just never had time. I was just too busy playing sports. And then, it kind of waned for a while, came back around for a while, then it waned again. And that's kind of the NBA for me throughout my life, right? The best thing when you have kids, there's a lot of great things, but as it pertains to sports, it's fun to watch them playing sports, but also what do they get into? Like, I didn't try to push them into anything. I just wanted to see what they liked. And obviously, sports are on in my house all the time. And so they know what their dad's watching, right? And so early on, when they're really little and they can't do anything, you're just sitting there watching games with them is what you're doing, And a lot of the time. And Bryce, for whatever reason, my oldest, he's just always loved the NBA. Always. And now he's a junkie. Like yesterday, he says to me when I get home from work, "Hey, when does Inside the NBA start, Dad?" I said, "It's on already, man. The show's on now. You can find NBA shows almost year round if you want." He goes, "We should watch that." I was like, "No, you can watch that."
Yeah,
I'm not going to watch that. I'll watch games with you when the regular season starts.
Son, it's called Google. You know it.
Yeah, just pull it up. Yeah. But yeah, so he comes back an hour later because apparently he went in his room and watched it. And he goes, "They think the Clippers are the odds-on favorite." That he loves the Clippers because of Terrence Mann. Loves it. And he has a Terrence Mann jersey. Loves Terrence. Just thinks he's hung the moon, which is a good guy to like. So I love that his love for that team comes by way of Florida State. And he begs me to go to every Florida State basketball game. He's a basketball junkie. So it's kind of rekindled my love to watch the storylines in the NBA because of how excited he gets. And he plays the 2K game all the time. He beats my ass. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm out here with like the all-time great Celtics, the all-time great Lakers, the all-time great Sixers, and he'll just be like a regular season Clippers team and beat me by 50. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm officially at the age where the video game prowess is so in favor of my child that I don't even like playing with him. It's not even I don't like, how did you do that? You just got to do this. Oh, you hit 17 buttons inside of 1 second. Oh, no, it's very easy. I remember doing that. Sorry, Mike. I remember doing that as a kid with my dad. He'd be like, "I don't understand," and I'd laugh at him. Now I'm that guy. Now I'm the guy being laughed at. Anyhow, so my point of all of this was we got great weather, huge games, college and pros going on. Soon the hockey starts. Baseball playoffs begin. Soon the NBA starts. You're a sports fan. This is heaven. There's never not something to be invested in and watching. And as a sporting guy, perhaps involved in every day of the week, starting in about a week.
Yeah, I can tell you just looking at NC State specifically pretty hard this week. I'm trying to find an angle, but it's hard to.
Yeah,
because we don't know who's available for us. But Devin Leary's fall from grace is really interesting because I get that some of it is the receivers.
Yeah, they're missing two really. They had two really good guys.
But do you know he's been pressured less this year than he was last year? So you would think that the counterbalance of, okay, I don't have as good of weapons, but I'm getting more time to throw the ball would lead to at least something close akin to the results that he had last year. It's not that he's terrible. And it's not that he's not capable of making plays on Saturday night at home in front of a raucous crowd with it's NC State's last stand if they want to win the ACC.
Correct.
They've got to win this.
They have to win this game. That's another thing I hate, that they will play that way.
It's in him, and he made 2 or 3 throws specifically against Clemson last week. We go, oh, well, he's still that guy at times, but it's only at times. It's a really weird game because I was trying to find an angle for prize picks or for the number or whatever. It's just hard. This one's hard to figure.
So I failed us in the Redemption Thursday picks. The picks that will go up, I will add a game to the ledger here. And what I mean by failing us is I forgot, I think rather conveniently, to be honest with you, I forgot to post the Florida State-NC State game. And it's because I don't like it. In my real life, I don't like the game. I don't like either side. I think NC State will win this game, but there are alarm bells going off, and this is where betting can add to the conversation, the general conversation surrounding a matchup, even if you're not betting. I think it's weird that this number at Circa on Sunday, you guys follow me on Twitter, I post on Sundays, the second Circa puts out their lines, I always post the Florida State line, just for informational purposes, okay? That line opened at Circa 5. Some books had it 5.5 for NC State. The money's moved to Florida State in terms of it's been bet down to 3.
Yep, that's the chat. And Old Dad's asking, does that say more about them or us that the number is 3?
I think it says more about them. I think there's a problem there that we're not, because we're not, this is where being there covering the team helps. Like, we know everything about Florida State's strengths and weaknesses. Now, everybody can have an opinion about how that affects the game, but knowing what they are matters. Being there to see that so-and-so didn't practice, or that they're not getting so-and-so back on time, or that their left tackle is missing a game, like Scott did last week, for example. You get that from guys that are there every day or in the town and covering the team. This is where, from a betting standpoint, or even just to have a better grasp on the game, I wish we were there covering NC State, because something seems amiss to me. Why that would go. What about our performance told Sharps, yeah, I like Florida State to make that a really close game on the road against NC State next week?
Okay.
Like, I don't see that.
Okay, so there are some things that Clemson didn't do that maybe could inform that. DJ is playing better football for Clemson.
He's playing very good.
But I'll tell you what, he misses 2 or 3 wide open shot plays. And I mean wide open shot plays on basic looks, meaning it's not some sort of, oh man, they've been saving that play for a year. Nothing crazy. You know, little things like it's a fake bubble and instead it's a double move and release down the sideline. I mean, dude's wide open, might score. DJ misses him. Another throw down the left side. He's got him. It would have been the knockout blow. And I think it was early 4th quarter or maybe it was late 3rd quarter. But either way, knockout blow down the left sideline, busted coverage, misses the throw. And then if you look, you combine some of those things that NC State's defense and their coverage is allowing for with the schedule that they've played. I think what the Sharps are telling you is we are not impressed with who they've seen on offense. Clemson is above average, but they're not as elite as their ranking overall would suggest, right? Their defense is leading the way, Clemson's defense instead of their offense. They played UConn, they played ECU, they played Texas Tech and a backup quarterback at home for a night kick. I mean, and they played one other game against Patsy. So where is the challenge that you've seen NC State's defense rise up against? If I'm going to make a case, it's based on that kind of stuff. Their front is good. Their front 3.
Their front 3 is really good.
And their system is awkward, so it's tough to prepare for and communicate. That's my concern for Florida State. We didn't exactly pass off Wake Forest wrinkles very well last week. You're going to see the exact same thing. In fact, a little bit more complex this week.
That's my point. Like, so we can do what you just did, and I'm glad you did it, because you're right to point out some of the warts that NC State is facing. But I think that if you look at where Florida State's at in their schedule, and given the unfortunate nature of their injury luck, and what you just saw get exposed last Saturday by Wake Forest, whose front is not as good as NC State's, how do you believe that travels to the tune of this line shifts from 5 to 3 to who knows, maybe it's 2 by the time they kick it off? I find that odd. I think there are huge question marks about both teams. I think it's a fascinating game for that reason. The one thing that gives me pause, and another reason that I wouldn't like to bet it, I lean towards NC State because it's a desperation game for them. The only shot they have to remain in the conversation in the Atlantic is to win, is really to win their remaining games, because in essence they're in a 2-game hole. They by losing to Clemson, they're screwed. They really, I hope they're realists. I hope they're realists. I hope that they sit around and really look in the mirror and realize it's over. You can't win the division. You screwed it up last week. You had to have won last week to have any chance at all to win this division. Because what? Is Clemson going to lose twice in the Atlantic? No, they're not. So you're done. So don't play hard, guys. Your season was over last week, whereas Florida State still has Clemson ahead and obviously has to bounce back from that loss to Wake because Wake could lose. Wake could lose a couple times.
They could lose to NC State.
That's a much more likely occurrence than Clemson losing twice. So Florida State is right in it with a chance. But you got to win. You got to win Saturday to have any shot at all for the Clemson game to truly mean something other than it's a high-profile game. Like, think about if Florida State wins this game tomorrow night or Saturday night. If they do, the following week against Clemson, it was already going to be a great atmosphere. It was already going to be a fun game to go to and cover and be a part of and, you know, all that because the energy surrounding this team is still good and the fan base likes this team. And, you know, I think even in spite of the loss, people still feel good about the direction Florida State's going in. And that will remain true as long as they don't go get blown out by NC State on Saturday, right? I mean, people will still feel like, all right, a couple tough losses. You know, this is all part of it, trying to get back to where you want to be. But, man, if you win Saturday, you might be playing for the opportunity to compete in the ACC championship game.
Yeah.
So that you'll feel that entering the stadium.
Well, and the other part is, and R. Wilmer just put it on the chat too, is there's probably a little bit of maybe Vegas forecasting injuries or the Sharps, because the Sharps are influencing the line. The Vegas already said it.
Yeah.
But the Sharps believing that Jared Verse returning and maybe being on less of a pitch count, meaning more, you know, he's going to play mostly the whole game, will make a difference. He did make a significant difference in the second half against Wake Forest. Maybe they're forecasting that Robert Scott's going to be available. Listen, I'll tell you point blank, I'm not sure. I'm waiting till warm-ups, and I've seen practice. I don't know. I think that's going to come down to the wire. I think it's a game time kind of deal for Robert. But maybe they believe that, and that makes it a little bit of a shift. But then also, if I'm going to argue hard for Florida State in this game, I'm going to say that against a more impressive offense and a quarterback who's point blank playing better than Devin Leary and Sam Hartman. He's just better this year.
So Sam Hartman's one of the best players in the conference.
Florida State
that good.
Put themselves in positions that very few defenses do against Wake. They just never made the damn play to get off the field. But they put themselves in position. They weren't overmatched down for down. Their yards per play was under 5. So they're putting themselves in position against a better quarterback and better weapons without Jared Verse. That would be the argument for Florida State's defense to rise up and put the offense in a position where it doesn't necessarily have to score 35 to win this football game. But it's still tough because you've got to promise me that you can somewhat consistently stop the run up the gut.
That's the whole game. That's the whole game to me. Because I do think, and I do trust, to an extent, this offense to be pretty consistent. I understand they only scored 21 points last week. Would have been more. Obviously, you could have made a kick. That's 24. You know, you can look at this a lot of different ways. If you don't get the holding penalty with a play inside the 5,
that's an empty possession. That would have been 7.
That would have been 7. So you left some points out there. Frustrating. You had the fumble on the one possession. That, you know, these things, very frustrating. But I think the offense has kind of earned the trust, at least in terms of the weapons that Jordan has and the decisions that Jordan's been making. I trust them more. I don't trust this defense right now, and it's not because we gave up 31 points to Wake. There's no shame in that, as you're correctly pointing out. Wake scores against everybody, including aforementioned Clemson. What I worry about is the interior of the defensive line has just not been good. Even in our wins, it hasn't been good. And I think if I'm NC State, I want to make this a physical contest, and I want to bully Florida State. I want to see, are you tough enough in my backyard at night in a must-win game for both teams? Are you tough enough to make a play? Because I'm going to, I'm going to test it if I'm them. I'm going to come out and run the ball between the tackles, and let's see what you got. What Florida State hasn't had in that situation. I'm talking about power. I'm running the ball at your ass. I'm not having this nonsense.
No, dive.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm doing all of that. I'm not worried about getting out on the edge and all that other stuff. I'm coming right at you. I've just not been impressed. I mean, I love Big Coop, but he's not having the season I thought he was going to have. I don't think it's realistic to ask Farmer to dominate. He's not going to at this time in his career. He's young, redshirt freshman.
Jackson's been the one that's been frustrating. You know, he's made some plays here and there, but this is the guy that we saw in both camps, which is Once in a while,
good day, bad day, good day.
He'll uproot you, and you'll go, who does that on this roster? Lovett included. Like, who does that? And then there are other times where it doesn't work out. So the inconsistency is killing you, and I think you're banged up in some other places.
I do too.
Not 100%.
That's the problem. And again, so when people hear this is not me lauding NC State. I'm not trying to tell you NC State is any great shakes. What I am saying is that neither are we. We've got problems due to injury, personnel issues on the interior, that just because you want them to go away or you've been able up to this point prior to last week find a way to win games, it doesn't mean that it's not going to affect you moving forward, especially in a road game that against a desperate team. And it did affect us last week. We lost at home in our own backyard against Wake as a favorite. It's going to affect you in this game. And listen, I just believe that those are some things at times are awfully tough to get around. We'll see. I don't know, Chris, where you're getting your information, but I do not believe Fabian Lovett is back. So yeah, he's putting that in the chat. I just saw a guy put it in chat.
I wouldn't even acknowledge that.
Well, the only reason I'm bringing it up is that there's no indicators whatsoever that Fabian Lovett is back. None. And I hope, like hell, that he is. It's a different team if he's back. It's
even if he's on a pitch count, because you use him for first and second down as much as you possibly can. First down specifically. You want that dude on the field.
Oh, buddy, it changes the game.
Let's say they have 12 drives.
Now,
give me 25 plays. Make sure you're on the field for every first down you can be.
Yeah, he was in practice. Lots of guys have been in practice and not played. Scott practiced all last week. I mean, that doesn't mean that they're going to play. So you're right. Back to our point of if he plays on first down or something, a pitch count like that, yeah, it would be nice. It would be nice. If he plays, I'm excited, but I would be surprised.
Yeah. Also, we can't really discuss whether a player is in practice or not. I'm just telling you that Jared Verse is much, much closer, and we've said that for weeks.
Well, the coach said it. You can say that.
Yes. Maurice Smith has surprised us before. They didn't expect him to be back until Louisville, and he was ready to go for LSU. Maurice Smith was.
Yes.
So surprises can happen.
That is
but
correct.
It would be a surprise.
It would be a surprise. He could play.
And we ain't covering for Mike here. I'm just telling you, it would be a surprise.
I suppose he could play, and I hope he does. It's just that you can't say with any certainty that he's going to play. That's just not true. And so we'll see. You're right about Verse. If you were going to say, Jeff, make it a projection, what you think will happen. Well, I think Verse is a full go. I think he'll be mostly a full go. If Lovett plays, I believe it would be very sparingly, if at all.
If at all.
If at all. And so that's where I'm at with this. Let's get some picks out here. Let's come back. We'll do it. That's a tease. That's what they say in the industry, guys. That's a tease. I'll come back with my Redemption Thursday picks. Got off to a good start last night with a little Wednesday. Chef Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Every day, Sellers makes life a little better for homeowners, helping them find the best design ideas for their homes with the best quality tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring. Even mosaics, ceramic, and vinyl solutions are at their fingertips in their remarkable showroom. Maybe it's time for you to get the Sellers Advantage for your home or office. Find them on Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive, or online at sellerstile.com. For style, quality, and design, get the Sellers Advantage. In Tallahassee, call 656-8453.
Imagine for a moment that you are completely weightless with zero gravity. All of your worries and stress melt away. Your mind stops racing and you fall into a profound state of pure relaxation. This is available to you right now at Tallulah Delta 8 Plus Floating in Railroad Square for just $50. These state-of-the-art floating pods are unlike anything else you've ever experienced. And while you're there, you can shop for some of the latest and greatest CBD and Delta 8 products on the market. Natural pain management, stress relief, and better sleep are all at your fingertips at Tallulah. Tell them Jeff Cameron sent you and thank me later.
Football at El Jalisco, football at El Jalisco, what a combination. It's a great big celebration. It's football at El Jalisco. I can dig it. Who's playing? Oh, man, everybody. The ACC, the SEC, all the C's, and even the pros. The Bucks, the Steelers, the Giants, the Cowboys. Wow, far out. You bet, man. When the game is on, it's on at El Jalisco with incredible specials on everything from frosty cervezas to salty margaritas.
Does Margarita know?
Dios mío, not again. The best place to watch the game is El Jalisco. College, pros, Monday night, Thursday night, you name it, El Jalisco is football headquarters. And with 5 Tallahassee area locations, there's probably an El Jalisco right around the corner right now. Now go call Seminole Glass. They'll get on the road and get it done fast.
Your local family-owned glass company, serving the Big Bend for over 15 years. At Seminole Auto Glass, we care about your safety. Insurance will send you wherever it benefits them, not the quality of service. There's a difference in auto glass companies. Trust your local auto glass experts. Seminole Auto Glass.
They handle any kind of broken glass, and you know who they are.
Better call Seminole.
At Epps Decorating Center, we're your locally owned Benjamin Moore retailer. We're your store for quality with brilliant and durable paints in a variety of sheens and thousands of colors. We're your store for service with one-on-one advice for contractors and homeowners. We're your local experts, and we're here to help with all your painting projects. Benjamin Moore, available at Epps Decorating Center with 2 locations in Tallahassee. Find a store near you and visit eppsdecorating.com. That's eppsdecorating.com.
Hey, Nole fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orangetheory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orangetheory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orangetheory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orangetheory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Cameron Show, brought to you by Orangetheory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Interested in perhaps getting a home, buying a home, you need to go through my friend Shannon Young there with Legendary Home Loans. They do a great job, and he's a diehard Nole, and it's a fun process. Moreover, it's one that is rewarding for a lot of reasons, and that you save a ton of money right now with their Hometown Heroes discount. In particular, if you are a veteran, active military, police officer, firefighter, nurse, or a teacher, you will save a ton of money on lender fees, and if you use their preferred title company, you'll save upwards of $2,200 right off the top. Give them a call today if you're interested. 844-FSU-LOAN. That's 844-FSU-LOAN, or you can visit FSUHomeLoans.com. It's FSUHomeLoans.com. All right, let's do this. Let's get to the Redemption Thursday picks. I won a game last night right off the bat. That's nice. There it is up top. I see it right there. Thanks to our friends at Metro Deli.
Winner.
Winner last night. I had to sweat that out, though. That was ridiculous. UCF SMU with some really late nonsense that turned this into a bit of a sweat, under 64.5. And we got it. We're off to a 1-0 start.
I figured it was a sweat because I saw Richard Simmons appear on my Twitter timeline last night.
Well, I stayed up watching that game fairly late, and I ended up kind of being more nervous than I thought I was going to be after the first half. I mean, things were really going swimmingly between those two inept teams, and then all of a sudden it just got silly. I was a little nervous, but we got the win. So we're off to a good start. I needed that. It's been a tough go. I got Houston on the money line against Memphis. Just bringing a little pizza money on that game. That's just a fun bet. That number, I think, is 2.5 for Memphis. I kind of lean Houston here, so I just money lined it. Little pizza money, little something. Tennessee -3 against LSU. I don't trust LSU's offense at all to take advantage of a weak Tennessee defense. So the one unit in this game that I trust is Tennessee. I their offense. That is the lone unit on the field that I trust consistently.
That's interesting, because you would find a way Tennessee-wise. So you must be very sure that
LSU's not healthy either. They're a little banged up. So
Daniels got banged up at the end of the game last week.
So I'll take Tennessee and lay the 3. Michigan -22.5 against Indiana. I've just seen enough of Indiana, who got housed fairly significantly by Nebraska last week. This is more about ineptitude at Indiana than it is about elite play from Michigan. Took Purdue +3 against Maryland. I went with the better coach. North Carolina +3.5 against Miami. North Carolina's a live dog, everybody. Miami's got problems. It's a weird team. They got problems. You look at some of the metrics, some of the advanced stats, and Miami's not doing a lot right across the board. I don't know if this is part of the headache of having to, rebuild. People forget, like, everybody got so excited about Cristobal getting there, which if you're a Miami fan, I would be too. You're bringing home one of your own. He's a really good recruiter. Now, his in-game decisions are awful. They always have been. He's a terrible game day coach. But he's a really good recruiter, and sometimes you overcome being a bad game day coach because you go get good players. And that's fine. Long-term, that's going to be okay. But when you got to flip a locker room and you bring in a new offensive coordinator who, by the way, I thought that was a crazy hire. What at Michigan did he do that you felt great about when you hired him?
Yeah, talking to some Michigan friends.
Yeah.
They said, by all means.
Dude, please take his sorry ass. That's what they said. Yeah.
Down the road.
So you've seen Van Dyke hasn't looked the same. Got benched at home against Middle Tennessee.
And they had to sit on that for a bye week.
Yeah, it hadn't been pretty. He might want to transfer. Just go ahead and get up out of there.
Somewhere north.
Just not going well. Just go ahead and leave that place.
Near the Panhandle.
Just take it on down the road. Duke -3.5 against Georgia Tech. Duke's been my team, man. I've won money on Duke all year.
Duke and Kansas can make you some coin this year.
It's crazy. Yeah. I think BYU's a little beat up. I took Notre Dame -3.5. I think they've righted the ship enough. And then finally, how is Texas A&M going to score? Like, that number seems crazy huge, 24. But how is Texas A&M going to score? They struggle to score against everybody, not named Alabama.
Because Jimbo's been prepping for this game for the whole year and completely mailed it in on all the others.
Is he finding magically a better receiving core and a healthy offensive line and a better quarterback?
We know how he'll just focus on one thing like Alabama and then never focus on anything else. That happened here.
Yeah, he'll show up for a big one, and then they'll make you like him temporarily, and they're like, what is this nonsense against NC State and Wake? Yeah.
If they do get first downs, though, that's going to run the clock down and put that 24 in jeopardy.
I agree. I could just see this being 37-0. I just don't know how they score. So I went ahead and laid it. And don't undervalue the little nonsense that happened in the offseason.
Well, what about Bryce Young? Is he good to go?
They say he's going to play. I think he's going to play. From what I read, and our people at On3 at Alabama seem to think he's going to play. So, I think he's okay. Again, whether he plays or not doesn't change the fact that I don't think A&M can score. I don't think they can score. It could be 27-0. If you're watching the show on Warchant TV, well done, Director Matthew. Well done. I laid the 24. So those are the Redemption Thursday picks. Okay. We're off to a 1-0 start with the last night's victory because I tweeted it before the game. So nobody can say, after the fact. No, it was out there before the game.
Is there any side of FSU and NC State that you would be interested in? I know we've done a side project for the sports book in which we talk about live. But if you had to do something before a live placement of a potato chip, would you pick a total? Would you pick a team total?
I'm not going to bet the game.
Okay. All right.
I'm not going to bet the game. I don't like the game at all. It doesn't, for the purposes of a fun
Redemption Thursday mandate. Yeah.
I'll lay the 3 with NC State.
Okay.
I don't like it. I'm not going to do it in real life. But,
I was hoping you'd be calling for it. Give me the 3.
No.
I was hoping that's what I'd hear.
Listen, here's what I love. I love the idea that, Florida State's got an awesome opportunity here to continue to I think it's an easy team to love anyhow because of how hard they play and how much better they are than they were before. And then I think, again, I know what happens when you lose a game. Everybody gets pissed off and they find like whatever wart, but that wart existed prior to the loss. And it gets hyper-focused on after the loss.
I got criticized a little bit for being nitpicky the Boston College game, that they actually did run the ball between the tackles okay, and in the few attempts that they had, I was alarmed because I was hypersensitive to it because Louisville was able to. And then by the time it became a trend, well, we're already up so many points that nobody cares. Like, all right, it's a big win.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a trend. You got to put this to bed.
Yeah.
And Wake Forest did not allow us to put it to bed. It's now still a thing. And it's got to be a thing that's answered for early.
It'll be a thing until you get Fabian Lovett back at full strength. It's just going to be a thing. They don't have the talent and depth at that position needed to ensure that we don't get gashed. They also don't have the talent and depth at linebacker to be able to rotate guys and stay fresh. They got 2 players at linebacker that are good. That's it.
But they're not going to be scared to death of NC State's receivers, nor are they going to be scared to death of their quarterback. And they did succeed on 1st and 2nd down a fair amount in the second half, a fair amount at getting them into 2nd and 8s and 3rd and 6s and things like that. So it's in there, but it's got to be in there from the jump. And it's got to be, even if it's 50-50, that might be good enough. It just can't be they're always in 2nd and 4 and 3rd and 2. But if let's just say they move the chains twice in a drive, and in those 3 first downs, they're in 2nd and 8, 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3, then you've got a chance of getting off the field before they score anything.
If you win first down on both sides of the ball, then you're in good shape. You got a chance to win this game. And I think, by the way, that's a distinct possibility. People hear me pick NC State and they think that I'm really down on the Noles. It's just not true. I mean, they're in a process of rebuilding a roster. They've done a good job with it through transfer portal guys. Let's look at wide receiver, for example. Every area is growing, but not enough to overcome losing both your starting tackles on offense before the season. Well, one of them before the season even began. Basically, the Duquesne game is when he got hurt. So that's now you lose that guy for the year. That hurts because you don't have an apt replacement for him. And then, obviously you didn't have Robert Scott these last couple games. That ain't good. And not having, like, this is where when Caden Lyles got hurt, we were like, yeah, he may not have won a starting job, but he's played big time Power 5 college football at a place where they have a history of very good offensive line play, Wisconsin. If he's one of your first up off the bench due to an injury, or you have to substitute a player or even move guys around, you have a suitable plus player, or at least college football Power 5 ready offensive lineman to plug in. Well, he's gone for the year. So you don't have that guy. Then you lose Bless Harris. Then you lose Robert Scott. So you've just done this time and again. And these things eventually catch up to you the same way that it did with Fabian Lovett getting hurt against LSU. The other guys are nice complementary pieces that surround a star in Fabian Lovett. Well, those aren't excuses. Those are reasons.
Yeah. And I think on the offensive side, you already talked about the line. But that, and I'm talking about the offensive line, not the betting line, the plan for the offense has to be misdirection, I think. You almost want your straight ahead plays to be your counter punches, not your jab, because if you're going to try and run straight ahead on NC State, I don't think you're going to be very successful because they do such a good job. That's part of that scheme is a 3-3-5. You don't know who you're blocking, and they have an extra step to go where they need to go to create the angles. But if you can use misdirection, it works against this group at least through most weeks. Maybe their game plan this week is to stay at home because they know that misdirection is coming with Mike Norvell's offense. But their instinct is to get downhill and to try to make plays and not worry about the consequences of making those plays. So if you can establish some basic stuff, then the misdirection is going to work on them. And you incorporate Jordan's legs, you go a long way in establishing a base thing that they have to be afraid of. But you've got to run the quarterback.
Remember, how well, I mean, if we want to talk for a moment just about the X's and O's of football, I thought it was plainly obvious that Mike Norvell outcoached Brian Kelly in the game against LSU. That was a superior effort from a coaching standpoint. You talk about ready across the board. Florida State was ready. Offensively, specifically, that was a masterpiece of game planning and play calling.
Jordan knew where to go.
Oh, I mean, always had the answer to the test. It was great to watch. Every game since, there's been a mix of yes and no moments, right? I'm not in love with our red zone play calling. I think we get a little too cute, and that drives me nuts. That's my lone criticism right now, just from a play calling standpoint. And I don't often bring up play calling because I think that is the last bastion of a fan who's frustrated, right? But this would be a good time for Mike to break it out, because he got into a rhythm against LSU, and you and I both talked about it. It was like, oh man, I have the answer to everything you're trying to do.
Right.
They gave us a million looks. They gave Jordan a million looks in that game against LSU, and he answered every one of them with a big FU. I've got the answer. That has to happen here. It could. I say all of that to say this. Every week you and I ask the question, if somebody's going to blow somebody out in this game, who is it? Is this the first time that you might say Florida State?
Is the one getting blown out?
No, the one doing the blowing out.
No, I've said them in
I
many
don't count
cases.
Duquesne and BC.
Yeah.
I mean, of course we would.
I said it for Louisville too. That was wrong. No, I think Florida State has the easier path to 40 points than NC State does in this game.
Right. That's why I wanted.
That's what you need to score to win by. You need to score 40 to win by 2 or 3 scores.
Yeah, it's something I'm hanging my hat on that I'm hoping happens, because I think that there's an outside chance it does. Something's fishy with NC State, and I can't figure out what it is. They have been sputtering on offense all season long. You talk about frustrating. If you're an NC State fan, given what your quarterback was a year ago, and you bring him back and your coach is the same, yeah, you lose some players, but the system's been in place for a long time. He's built this thing up really nicely. You thought for sure that NC State would be, I don't know, one of the 3 best offenses in the league. The man had a 35-5 touchdown to interception ratio a year ago. He was the most efficient quarterback in the league. I don't know what's happened. It is strange.
He's missing easy throws.
But that's got to be here. Yeah. I don't know why that would be the case.
And it's not a greater pressure. It might be that he's pressing because it's a money year. I don't know. I'm trying to find things.
I'm trying to find things too. Yeah. And it's why I keep saying, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Florida State goes up there and wins 35-17. It's why this is a classic case of why you don't bet if you don't have a side that you can, because I could see NC State running the ball effectively between the tackles, keeping our offense off the field, having it be yet another maddening, frustrating situation where, where you can't get off the field because it's 3rd and short all night for NC State. That kind of stuff. I can see that.
And hearing it in our voice, Ryan puts in the chat, this reminds me of UNC and Hartman, and FSU blows them out. Yeah, that's the one thing that you can say definitively about Mike Norvell to this point, is incrementally, based upon how talented this roster is, he's had them up and ready to go to play on the road often here. North Carolina is a great example. Clemson last year, we got no business being in that football game. Handled that just fine. The neutral site game against LSU, they were ready to go. Louisville, the offense scored 35. They would have scored more if Jordan never got hurt in that game. But still, Tate was in there
he played
ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
They have largely been on the road when their talent has allowed them to be, and the preparation, obviously, of not being in a COVID year. They do okay. They show up on the road, and they don't look overwhelmed in the moment. The one glaring exception would be the pregame of the Florida game, where you go, guys.
Yeah, we fell for that. We took the bait.
Right, but they're coming off of being humbled, so I don't think that's going to be a problem in the pregame this week.
It's a great game. It's a fun game, and we're going to do the pregame show together, and then we're going to do the first half watch along together, and hopefully we're celebrating. Hopefully there's a lot of me standing up moments.
That would have to be in the first half, so let's hope we get out to a big lead.
I hope so as well. Chef Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
You're Local news now.
The Tallahassee Fire Department responded to a residential structure fire Wednesday morning. The incident was in the 600 block of Whitaker Road. At 7:55 a.m., personnel was dispatched to the scene within 5 minutes and discovered a mobile home with smoke and flames showing from the front side of the structure. Fire department personnel entered the unit and were able to quickly get the fire under control. The fire department confirmed that it searched the structure and no occupants were inside the home during the incident and no injuries were reported. The state fire marshal was called to the scene and the cause of the fire is currently under investigation. The only scheduled televised gubernatorial debate before the 2022 election between Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and challenger Charlie Crist was postponed. The debate on October 12th was postponed due to the extensive damage left by Hurricane Ian last week. A new debate date has not been announced yet. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. High of 85 this afternoon. Under clear skies, winds out of the northwest, around 5 miles per hour. Clear skies and quiet again tonight. Lows level off around 55. Sunny skies tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 87. Highs level off around 87 Saturday under mainly sunny skies. 86 Sunday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 82.
Let's be honest, we all have way too much stuff. Maybe your storage closet is full, your garage is full, or the guest bedroom is a mess. Call Southeast Portable Buildings, 580-6400, or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
Your next chance to win $1,000 is coming up at 3 p.m. Don't miss your chance to shake the 93.3 money tree and see what falls out. Planted by the law offices of Basic Brooks. Come back stronger with Basic Brooks.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true. But I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Chattanooga, Tennessee. Pastor Tabner was alone with a female church employee. She in a towel, and he in his boxers. The charismatic 41-year-old Hurley explained the two of them had been making chili and gotten food on their plate. With the hot dogs that they were making, we are hoping that the pastor used the right condiments.
Think? There was at least one hot dog involved.
I don't know what you're talking about. We were just making chili dogs.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
You and hold you, I should say, accountable, then Orangetheory, I think, is a logical place to look. The coaches are great. Really, you'll find everybody's working hard together, and it's also backed, most importantly, by science. It works. You want something that works if you're going to invest in it. First class, as I said, is always free, so you can learn a little bit about it. They'll go through everything with you. I remember that was the part that I liked when I first started with them, having an opportunity to learn how the system worked and what was expected of us and the coaches and all of that good stuff. First month is free if you get that heart rate monitor. You purchase that heart rate monitor, which you're going to want to do. There's a location in Midtown. There's one on the north side, too, next to Fresh Market, where I'll be later today, buddy, grabbing some. I've been a cook this week.
Oh, all right.
I've been a cook this week. My wife's been out of town, little mini vacation with her best friend, and so I've been Mr. Mom this week. And you would have been happy, buddy. I had this chicken breast yesterday for the kids that I got, 2 of them, wrapped in bacon with jalapenos, cream. You don't like cream cheese, but it had cream cheese.
86
so
that.
Yeah. So it had cream cheese and spinach inside, wrapped in bacon with the jalapenos. It was delicious.
So where did you have it fully prepped so you could just heat it up?
Oh, that's correct. I had that done at Publix. Yeah, absolutely. I did not individually buy any of those items.
I was gonna say, man,
the pre-wrapped way is the way to go, but I cooked it to perfection.
Nicely done.
Yeah. And I actually made a few things on my own this week as well. So that I can take credit.
The old Cameron family mac and cheese.
No, that I did, but then, but you know what? I also did a little register sausage cut up in the mac and cheese. What are we doing here?
There you go.
What are we doing here?
It's like a man's Chef Boyardee, you know.
Ooh. By the way, if we win this game, I'm gonna be nervous at exactly what time? Midnight, 11 o'clock. Was that game in 11:30?
Yeah, and when you wake up on Sunday, and when you wake up on Monday
and Tuesday and Wednesday,
you might actually go to practice on Tuesday and be like, "Come on!" Yelling
at him.
Don't you fail me!
Oh yeah, you got to reach down, and this is a 3-game stretch from hell. So, let's kind of reach down deep. Let's find a way.
You're allowing yourself in this moment. I can see it in your eyes to believe. That
I want to believe. I think it's important. I understand logically that you could be 4-3 at the end of this stretch, and people will, hair on fire, angry, all of that. I get how it works from week to week. Still think you could end up winning 8 games, even if that happens. And you would, by any measure, say 8-4 is a fine season going into the year. Most people would agree that would be a fine season where they're at. I'm also. It's funny. I've said before, as a sports fan and as, let's just say, just a fan, let's just remove any sort of conversation on a daily basis or analysis or anything like that. Just a fan. As you get older, you get a little bit more patient because you see the ebbs and flows and when teams and programs are up and down, and it happens to everybody and all that. But I am beginning to lose patience with the injuries, not blaming anybody. It's just unlucky. But what it does is expose the lack of talented depth, and that I'm about ready to be done with that.
Yeah,
let's really hope we do a good job in recruiting this year.
Because if you've got your frontline guys, if Fabian's for this game and Verse, let's just say for the 3-game stretch,
if everybody's healthy,
was healthy for that 3-game stretch,
you're
good
about it.
2-1 at minimum.
Probably 2-1. Yes.
Yeah.
Probably
at minimum, because that defensive line was fearsome against LSU. You're going, oh my God, they got nowhere to go. They've got nowhere to go.
Yeah, Fabian Lovett is a difference maker, and obviously Verse has proven to be even better than we thought he'd be. We were all excited about him, and we thought he'd provide them real spark off the edge. We didn't know he would be that kind of dominant when he plays, and he's really good.
And you have a quarterback in this situation that can't take off and make 3 guys miss.
Thank God. I'm tired of seeing that.
Right. So if you had that for Hartman and you had that for Leary, and then DJ, who is playing better, but actually, I was a little bit more buoyed by what I saw with the NC State performance.
The difference is he's made big throws, really big throws in big moments this year.
The throw to Shipley before half was a big-time throw.
He's made some really big throws. That's actually a stat. Big-time throws. It's like an actual stat.
It is, yeah.
And he currently leads the country. Did you know that?
No.
He does.
Do they have big time misses or layup misses?
Yes,
he'd be pretty close to the top of the country in that.
Well, I think you'd say Leary is the one who's pretty close right now.
Leary
it's weird,
but Leary misses a lot that are oddly 6 and out, little things, dink and dunk that keep you ahead of the chains that are huge from a coaching standpoint. You flip out that you don't make those easy plays. DJ, and I know I'm daring the gods now, but DJ misses shot plays that are just wide the hell open, and they aren't all the same. It's not like Jameis trying to hit Deshaun Jackson years ago, and that deep post is just never going to work. It's like the 9 and the deep in-cutting route and a little flare, a corner smash, whatever you want to call it. All these throws where you go, oh my, they set it up. They've done well. Clemson has done everything they needed to do to scheme this open, and then no.
I think we're so accustomed, unfortunately, to watching Clemson quarterbacks be arguably the best quarterback in the country. So when a guy who's a 5-star guy isn't perfect or a first-round pick to be, then it really stands out. He's a good player, though. He's become a good player.
It's not that he's not a good player. It's just that he's gettable. And the funny thing is, I know this isn't Clemson week, but in watching NC State Clemson, it's just odd that back-to-back weeks, the prep is largely watching Dabo's team.
Yeah.
Shipley's about ready to kill DJ in the first half because he misses 2 or 3 reads. One's a throw, one's a keep and a give. and he's willing to show him up on the field.
Oh, he's pissed. He's seen it too many times.
Shipley is he's got a little Peyton Manning big time in him. Jalen Ramsey big time in him, where you go, hey, man.
Yeah, that's a
little much.
That's not what we do, yeah. Yeah, you talk about it afterwards or on the sideline.
Right, not do this number.
Yeah.
Or yell F at the top of your lungs that everybody's going to hear
it. Well, I would tell you, back to our game, I really hope that sense that we have that there's something amiss with NC State. I hope we see it early, because it would be nice to relax and be in a situation where a win in 5-1, inarguably, people would be over the moon with our start to this first half of the season. I mean, there's really nothing to get upset about.
There would be nothing to lose against Clemson at that point.
Oh,
and I don't think there is either way, but if you're 5-1, you're just swinging for the downs. Who cares? Who cares what happens?
I think you have to let Jordan Travis run the ball on Saturday night. I hope he is physically at a place where they can allow for that to happen. I'd run the hell out of him. For the reasons you're talking about, where you create a flow going one way and you want to come back the other way, get Jordan outside the tackle box and let him make big-time decisions, run-pass decisions, because he's largely made good ones.
Yeah, there's a play where DJ has a long run, gets him inside the red zone in last week's game. It's all set up by going to Shipley.
Yeah.
And then that second
and
wave
comes
just
back around. Yeah, I know. I'll get to you, Robert, in a minute. Hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
You were always more than my mom. You were my role model, my best friend, and biggest supporter. You filled my days with unconditional love. And you also prepared for the day when you couldn't be here. Because of the woman you were back then, I'm able to be the woman I am now. Your planning made this moment possible.
Set your family up for life. Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance. Your friends for life.
This is Andy Cohen. When I was a law enforcement officer, I devoted my life to a career of service and protection. Who's protecting you? Give me a call. 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM. Helping you is what we do best.
Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi. Not licensed to do business in all 50 states.
Hey guys, it's Greg Tish. I know it's still warm outside, but Hearth and Patio wants to remind you that the cooler temperatures are coming. They will be here shortly. Now is the time to get those fireplaces inspected, get those fireplaces upgraded, or get a new fireplace for inside or for out. Or how about a wonderful fire pit to have out in your backyard where you can enjoy the cooler temperatures when they finally do get here. And yes, they will get here. Call my friends at Hearth and Patio today. 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282. Have them come out, inspect your fireplace, tell you about the upgrades, tell you about all the amazing ways that Hearth and Patio can make you feel comfortable when the cooler temperatures finally get here. That number again, Hearth and Patio, 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282, or online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth and Patio, they keep the home fires burning.
Physical stress on our bodies can take its toll as the years go by. Whether you're looking to get back into an old sport or just want to spend more time outdoors to explore all life has to offer in our beautiful city, the dedicated team at TOC is here for you every step of the way. You can trust TOC for all your orthopedic needs. And now, scheduling an appointment has never been easier. Just visit teamtoc.com and click schedule online. That's teamtoc.com.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. 7 Russian rockets have slammed into residential buildings in Zaporizhia, a city close to Europe's biggest nuclear power plant.
A fire engine is stationed next to what was once an apartment block, but is now a large hill of rubble. An immense and haunting plume of smoke rises from the debris as Zaporizhia's governor, Oleksandr Staruk, looks on. At night, when people were sleeping, the enemy carried out a rocket attack against residential houses. 2 upper floors are destroyed. Entrances to the buildings are ruined. People were under the rubble. The strikes came just hours after Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky announced the Ukraine military has retaken 3 more villages in one of the regions recently annexed by Russia. I'm Karen Chamas.
Also at townhall.com, Elon Musk's months-long tussle with Twitter took another twist this week after the Tesla billionaire seemed to return to where he started in April, offering to buy the company for $44 billion. But it's not over yet. Twitter says it intends to close the deal at the agreed-upon price, but the 2 sides are still booked for an October 17th trial date in Delaware over Musk's earlier attempts to terminate the deal. More Americans filing for unemployment benefits last week.
According to the Labor Department, jobless claims of the week ending October 1st rose by 29,000 to 219,000. Last week's number was revised down by 3,000 to 190,000. The Federal Reserve takes labor force data into consideration when making its rate decisions, but the more important data comes Friday in the form of the September jobs report.
That's correspondent Jeremy House reporting. A volatile day on Wall Street, and they are lower now. The Dow is off 206 points. The NASDAQ is down 8. More at townhall.com.
Charlie Dombeck here from Key City Capital. As a practicing CPA for nearly 30 years, I have found that 80% of your ability to grow your wealth is dependent upon 2 factors, taxes and investment performance. At Key City Capital, we improve investment performance by diversifying capital into off-market investment opportunities in passive rental real estate and alternatives like asset-backed lending. We recover dollars that clients unnecessarily pay in the form of income taxes, creating a lifetime annuity of savings. We are a sponsor of passive, affordable single and multifamily residential rental investments, which are located in Sunbelt landlord-friendly states. These investments are the top choices in a rising interest rate and inflationary environment. They represent a store of value, protecting your capital from market volatility. Learn how we at Key City Capital can help you ultimately grow your wealth rapidly. Connect with me at keycitycapital.com or give me a call at 817-912-1569.
Let's take a minute to imagine all the things you can accomplish with help from Southeast Portable Buildings. Are you a hoarder? Hoard some more. Get a storage shed. Mother-in-law moving in with you? Put her in a shed out back. I'm kidding. Still working on that engine that you're going to finish from last summer? Move it out to a new workspace with Southeast Portable Buildings. From she sheds and man caves to repair shops and trophy rooms, the possibilities are only limited to your imagination. Visit Southeast Portable Buildings today.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orangetheory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orangetheory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orangetheory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orangetheory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orangetheory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
On Twitter, it's at Jay Cameron Show. As always, like and subscribe if you're watching on Warchant TV. Helps others find the show. Also to note, even though the dollar deal is no longer, it is just $10 for the year. Just $10. What are we doing? What are we doing? Just giving it away still. My suggestion was $700 a month. Seems like a value there too, but they want to give it away for $10 for an annual, right? $10. That's what we're doing.
So what are we going to call it? Because $1 was just so easy, catchy.
Yeah. You could do the commercial thing where they're trying to get you to donate. It's less than $1 a month.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Security systems.
Yeah.
Less than $1 a day.
Oh man. You know how effective those Generac ads are after a storm? Even a storm that's like in another region of the country. You're like, oh, yeah, I like power.
Wait till I tell you about the food shortages we're about to have.
Like a patriot. Yeah, no, I crack up laughing every time I see the Generac commercial because I think, man, you got me. You got me again. Like, I have a generator. It works just fine, but I'm like,
you have a generator?
Yeah. But it's not.
I need to get on that, I guess.
Well, I would rather have the Generac just plugged right up to the house there and never have to get off my ass to do anything. It just knows, Tom. Oh, the power's
it
out.
Just knows.
Let's go.
I got too many trees. So I'm trying to think immediately. Where would I put them? Like, no, there's a tree there. No, there's a tree there. Oh, no. There are too many trees.
Fine folks that sell you the Generac will find a place for you, Tom. They got it. They'll come out to their house and take you through the process, buddy.
Protect it with Gotham steel.
It's just $10,000. Don't worry about it. These are the games. Here we go. Redemption Thursday wagers. One last night. Winner, chicken dinner. We took that under with UCF and SMU. It landed at under 64.5. 1-0 start. Houston on the money line to beat Memphis straight up. Tennessee -3 against LSU. Michigan -22.5 against Indiana. Purdue +3 against Maryland. North Carolina +3.5 against Miami. Be interesting to see if they go down there and win the game. Duke -3.5 against Georgia Tech. Clemson -20.5 against BC. Notre Dame -3.5 against BYU. And finally, I just have a hard time seeing Texas A&M putting up points, so I'll take Alabama with a robust 24. I also think there's going to be a little get back. A little get back for Nick, who, of course, lost this game a year ago, and then this offseason there was an ugliness to that give and take, right?
I can feel it all the way down in my plums.
It's despicable.
Did not bother to take the Florida State game, and that's on me. So if I have to pick it, and I'm not betting it in my real life, as I like to say, I would take NC State and lay 3. I was surprised, and we had a lengthy conversation about it. I was surprised to see it open at circa at 5 and then go to 3. That's surprising to me. I still can't figure that out. I think that bodes well for Florida State. I do.
Right. Yes.
I really believe that bodes well for Florida State.
Yeah. If you're looking at a line and you're living in Ohio and you're saying, what the hell's wrong with that line? That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
It's the same thing as the Colts and the Chiefs line where you go, what? Kansas City 5.5?
Right.
How's that possible?
Yeah, no. I thought Vegas, even though Tom, that there are those games where the number looks too good to be true, it is. In the NFL, Vegas knows something when they give you a line like that. I still fell for it. I was like, oh, no, you're overthinking it. Kansas City's going to kill Indianapolis. Oops. I still fell for it. I'm still angry about it. And if you noticed, last 2 weeks, nary NFL pick here. I'm leaving it alone. I'm tired of it.
Well, it's a tough year in general. I know I said it yesterday. I feel like taking the points is just a better provision this year. Did you look that up?
I looked up something, but not that.
Okay.
I looked up. It felt to me like the under was hitting because I bet an under last night.
There are just so many COVID teams with eligibility. There's so many old teams.
Old teams, yeah. I didn't look this up in college, but I know this. In the NFL, the under has been the winner. If you blanketly bet the under this year in the National Football League, you're hitting it over 56%, I think it is. So it's just you just gotta, in some cases, you just gotta hold your nose and keep betting the under.
Except for the Lions games. Bet the over and all of those ones.
Yeah, but you can't pick and choose. I know. Okay, gotcha. But that's where we're at, right? I mean, yeah, it's been a weird deal. Also, as an aside, I see some of you brought this up in the chat. Yeah, Tampa Bay is a big favorite against Atlanta. Good of Tom Brady to miss practice yesterday. Hey, look, man, this ain't it. It's not what we do. You just take off 11 days in the middle of camp because you're going through a divorce, I guess.
No, but apparently he has like an affixed Wednesday Veteran Day, I think, for the year.
It has not been mentioned until yesterday that he missed practice yesterday. I'm getting annoyed by this. I am sympathetic to anybody going through, strife in their personal life. It happens.
All right. So there was in September, there was a report early September that he was going to take every Wednesday off, that he was going to have.
But he
that day.
hasn't.
And then on the 21st of last month, he showed up for that practice on that Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But apparently there was an arrangement maybe that he would have the middle of the week off. I don't know.
During the season?
Yeah.
Well, that's the dumbest damn thing on earth. What are we doing?
Well, we're getting Kyle Trask some reps. That's what we're doing.
That's to stop, Tom. I'm so tired of this nonsense, man. Somebody asked earlier in the chat about what that line shift means if you consider home field advantage between 2.5 to 3 points.
Right.
Is what's given. And so the number is down to 3. They're telling you that this is two teams that are even on a neutral field. That's interesting.
Right. And we're even without Fabian Lovett and Robert Scott. So they're telling you that we're better. But, these injuries matter for this week alone.
It's fascinating.
Yeah. I agree with that. This is a night kick at Carter Finley. That's the problem here. I think I'd have a much easier time feeling somewhat positive about this game. You never are comfortable going up to that building. But if it wasn't an 8 p.m. kick up there, wouldn't you feel fundamentally better about our chances?
I just hate playing there. We don't play well there. I also don't like that again. And then we'll see. There's a chance. By the way, I don't want anybody to get the wrong impression that I'm saying 100% Fabian Lovett is not going to play Saturday. I am saying that I'd be surprised if Fabian Lovett played Saturday.
What I'm saying is that guy got by a troll on Twitter. There are dudes wearing scout team uniforms with a lot of numbers that look like our numbers. That's all I'm like.
No.
I hate acknowledging that part of it.
No. I'm not even trying to talk about that. It just came up, and there was talk of him being. Listen, lots of guys have been at practice, to your point, and sometimes they're even dressed, but they don't play. They don't always play. Sometimes they're just doing drills to see if they can put weight on the injured.
Yes.
Yeah.
A great example.
Yes.
Late last week, Jared Verse was in the practice video on Wednesday, and he had full pads on. Now, he was playing on a pitch count on Saturday, but he was just walking around.
He was just walking around.
Right.
We're only saying we'd be pleasantly surprised if my man played on Saturday night. I would be
more than pleasantly surprised.
In fact, I would find it shocking.
I might say something inappropriate on the pregame show presented by Zaxby's on Saturday.
Oh, hey, let's go, baby, is what
Yeah,
you're going to say.
yeah.
Let's go. It really does absolutely change the deal for Florida State. It would have changed the deal last week. It was my apprehension. That's why I picked Wake to score 34 points in my prediction last week. I had us winning the game in a shootout, 41-34. It didn't materialize for us offensively. Wake did a very good job up front of taking advantage of our tackles and really getting Jordan kind of out of sorts. I thought he was out of sorts most of that game, a lot of that game anyhow. But I was right to consider that Wake would score in the 30s because they have a really good offense. It's annoying as hell to play against. But without Fabian Lovett to disrupt the mesh, I knew Hartman would have time. And with Verse on a pitch count, he didn't have to worry about him in every third down situation. Now, there were moments in the game where obviously when Verse was able to give it a go, he made plays. Would have been nice to have him for the full allotment of plays instead of the 20 that he ran, right? I mean, that's so now if you get him all the way back, he's a difference maker. If you get Lovett back, and I don't think it's happening this week, guys, but if you were to, Florida State is a fundamentally different team defensively with those two dudes in the lineup.
Yeah, the defensive backs look a whole lot better.
Everybody looks better. Your linebackers look better. Yeah. Everybody looks better. Those two dudes have got to be on the field. And, we think one of them is certainly going to be on the field. Doubt the other one. It's a problem. Got to do your best to overcome it. The problem is some of the guys that you're asking to extend the amount of reps that they're playing, they too are not 100%.
Yeah.
And it's aggravating, man. All you can say is that's bad luck.
What's more reasonable to look at after this game is over is the snap count, not for Fabian Lovett, but for Azareye'h Thomas. he keeps getting talked up by the coaches during the week.
Well,
it's
that's
not
a cool
just that
thing
he's
to bring up, by the way. That's a fun thing to bring up.
Yeah, it's not that, you see him make an appearance or a cameo in the second half of the weight game and you think, oh, is it happening? Because remember last year, Amarian Cooper didn't emerge until the final 5-6 games of the season. And then you realize, who is that guy with that interception? Oh, that's our best corner. Okay. Well, that the coaching staff is saying, defensive coordinator, head coach, that he's coming on. I mean, they're telling you that the time is almost here. And it might be more expedited because you don't have many other good options. So I would say, and you said it in the break before the hour started, it is the time. It is right now.
It's absolutely
Let him
the time.
fail because he'll succeed more than the other guys in terms of making splash plays.
He's just a better player. He's got
a knack for the football.
The upside to that guy is huge. The upside to the guys that we're rolling out there, not named Azariah Thomas, is not very good. If you ask me, I got asked this question yesterday. I think we were talking during the Warchant report, which I think it's
live.
It's live. Okay, yeah. Who's and it happened in the chat on the Jeff Cameron show as well. Like, who are the guys that we're most pleased with or pleasantly surprised by? And I think it's impossible to ignore the growth, significant growth as a passer of Jordan Travis. I mean, he's been fantastic. So and Johnny Wilson, even if you were extremely optimistic, has been a better player than most of us thought he would be earlier than we thought he'd be. So that's exciting as well. But on the flip side of that coin, the most disappointing player this year is to me fairly easy to answer, and it's Duke Cooper. He has stunk.
For whatever reason.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
What happened? He's regressed immensely.
Yeah.
It is disheartening.
Yeah. You thought that you had one definite solution at perimeter corner before the season started, and he's not even your best solution at this point.
I'm just pissed about it. I mean, I really am disappointed by that. I thought he was a sure thing because we saw evidence of it on the field. He played
and then
great.
In camp, he followed it up in spring.
He looked awesome. We were like, all right, that's trending in the right direction. At least you got that guy. You got a known commodity at corner. Now we got to figure out this other side. And, I didn't think Renardo Green would be the guy that won that job, but I also
Thank God for Renardo Green.
Well, and that's my point is not only did I not think he'd win the job, I wasn't even sure he was going to stay on the team. I thought he might transfer. And then the other part of that was if he did win the job, I didn't think he'd be better than Duke Cooper, and he is 100% better than Duke Cooper, period. Which, damn it, man. That has to change in the second half of this season. We got to see something better here.
Maybe mid-October, November. That's just the season that Duke Cooper comes out and plays. You never know.
He picked a good night, Saturday night, to wake the hell up. He's going to have some chances here.
Yeah,
that's not a dominating receiving core. Come
no,
on now.
And that's where another thing I caught flack for. But that pick was, I mean, he was in okay position against BC. It wasn't like he went and got the football, akin to some of his interceptions from last year. Where is that explosiveness? And it could be a health thing. Remember, the coaching staff has said time and time again that he's working through and playing through something. But, I mean, if you're not going to be competitive in a third and obvious, then maybe you shouldn't be on the field. You're hurting us worse than you're helping us.
I love me some Azariah Thomas. Let's see him.
Then again, we had that problem against Louisville. And we're saying, I don't care how hurt Duke Cooper is. You put him on the field.
Oh, man. That's fun. It's fun to go the ups and downs and the thrill ride of a season. It changes so much when you win some games. Everything alters to a place where you're like, all right. You like now I'm really beginning to dream again. And I'm excited about the potential of a lot of these younger players. You didn't want to have to throw a lot of them in the mix. I'll throw one more thing out there. I'm getting close to just flat out saying that you can play Julian Armel at one of the tackles if you have to.
I would be more hesitant. I think this is a Goodwill Hunting debate between two professors.
I'm going to tell you.
I'll be Robin Williams today.
Well, I'm just going to tell you that kid, and I know where you're going, and I love that movie, so I know the retort. He's strong.
Yeah, his best reps are better than most other.
His mental makeup, his body type is different than the other guys you asked to play too soon who got broken down both physically and mentally.
Yeah.
This isn't a kid that belabors the point. He gets beat, and he's going to get beat as a
royally.
But what else does he do? He immediately bounces back from that.
Yeah.
He has 2 good reps right after it. His good is way better than anything Jazz gives you.
Yeah, that's why I would like to cultivate that. We're not, maybe, just maybe, if you can scrounge together 2 wins in the next 2 weeks, and you get to November and you're saying, I mean, now or never, because we're playing for something, large, then maybe you roll the dice a little bit. He needs a little bit more in the weight room. His body type is going to work. Of course it is. But his best
is really good.
Is astounding. His worst is astounding. And that's where I'm afraid of stunting growth, because his worst is on film. And now everybody's going to pile on this kid. And then he goes somewhere here.
I don't think
because we've seen spooky stuff happen to our offensive linemen before where they go internal.
I don't think that's going to happen with this kid. He's not that guy. He is a tough-minded SOB from a football family who has a whole lot of get you some and has from the day he arrived. And all of the bounce backs that we watch in practice where he gets his ass whipped, he looks like a turnstile in a moment. You're like, ooh, that was a toughie.
Or he's on the ground.
Yeah, or he's just flat out thrown to the ground. Right. We've seen that too. But what else have we seen? We've seen him whoop some ass on a veteran player.
Yeah, McLennan or reverse. He's won reps against those guys.
I remember when they were doing one-on-ones when Lovett was talking about how well Armella bounced back. So that's our best defensive tackle, and he's had good reps against him too.
And the thing that I can't wait to watch is when they run counter or power or whatever.
The speed, yes.
And Rodney Hill is running behind Julian Armella. Oh, buddy, come on now. That would turn into an adult program. I love the idea of what this offense looks like.
I'm just saying,
with those 2 guys.
I don't think you can continue to afford to have Jazz go out there and look like that, man.
He wasn't the worst tackle on Saturday.
No, but he's bad every week. And this was you're right, the left side was worse. But you can only replace one of them.
Yeah.
And also,
what you know about Bless Harris? Damn it, Bless!
I know. And I'll give you another one. 2 fingers to my eyes, 2 fingers back to you, to Emmanuel, who was terrible last week as well. And I'm just going to let you know, there's a guy right over there. Mr. Estes can play a little football now.
He can.
And he's an ass. And I mean that as a compliment. He's a jerk.
In a good way.
In a nasty way. Just saying.
That was, that's probably a longer segment, so I'll keep it short. But when Atkins was talking about how he thought that they had the answers down pat for what they needed to do, and they didn't. That was a little alarming, because let's see if you can apply it or if this becomes a remedial thing for you, because NC State is going to challenge the very same principles that Wake Forest was bringing to the table and exposing us for. It was twofold. Your tackles were just getting whipped one-on-one. That's simple. There's nothing to that in the way of twists and stunts and games, but that line shifting stuff, that's all about passing off between the tackles and communicating as a group of 5. And he didn't like the answers. He thought we were timid based upon, instead of just going and making it happen, we were waiting and reacting and saying, oh, that's not exactly like I thought it would be. Well, NC State's going to do the same thing. So you've got to have a better answer for that. And I think that's why Tuesday in practice, they were yelling, go now. Don't wait, just go.
It's, to me, by the way, and Briley does a good job here on the chat and bringing up the counterpoint. And Riley, I've been one who has said that quite a bit about, I don't want to sell the future of that offensive line for the now and all that stuff. Yeah, we have broken some kids doing that, but they weren't made of the stuff that Julian Armella is made of. That's my point. Every player is different. You got to judge everybody differently. You have to. There are dudes who come into programs as freshmen in the trenches. It actually does happen on occasion that can handle it, that can play. They're built different. They're talented. They're mentally or physically different. I'm not saying that you have to do it, but if you get too many more poor performances by Jazz there.
Well, how about 2 more?
Why? Well,
because then you don't roll them out there for Clemson.
I don't want to roll them out there for Clemson, but I would roll them out there for NC State.
If you do that, then you got to play him for Clemson.
Let's go, baby. Baptism by fire.
Oh, man.
It's Jeff Cameron, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Wooden Glass has been taking care of families since 1945.
Experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Wooden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Wooden Glass, and they provide precise installation.
Wooden Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass. Online at wittenglass.com. Call 850-222-5781.
Crawfordville Auto and Tire. Crawfordville Auto and Tire. Oh, hey there. I was just singing the praises of Crawfordville Auto and Tire. They do just about everything. Complete engine rebuilds, brakes, shocks, tires, oil change, you name it, they do it. And they offer a 12-month, 12,000-mile warranty on all parts and labor. Most of the time, they can service your car the same day and offer towing to help you get to the shop. Now that's something to sing about. Open weekdays from 7:30 in the morning until 6 at night. Crawfordville Auto Repair and Tires.
Football at El Jalisco, football at El Jalisco, what a combination. It's a great big celebration. It's football at El Jalisco. I can dig it. Who's playing? Oh, man, everybody. The ACC, the SEC, all the C's, and even the pros. The Bucks, the Steelers, the Giants, the Cowboys. Wow, far out. You bet, man. When the game is on, it's on at El Jalisco with incredible specials on everything from frosty cervezas to salty margaritas. Does Margarita know? Dios mío, not again. The best place to watch the game is El Jalisco. College, pros, Monday night, Thursday night, you name it, El Jalisco is football headquarters. And with 5 Tallahassee area locations, there's probably an El Jalisco right around the corner right now.
Let me tell you what T-Spark stands for. It stands for strength, commitment, teamwork, and heart. We don't ever quit until we've got nothing left to give. Our team is unstoppable. Want a guaranteed win? Call T-Spark Enterprises for your next roofing or construction project. We conquer all peaks. TSparkConstruction.com. License number CCC 1331204.
Over 50 years ago, when Paul Nicholson founded Paul's Termite and Pest Control, he had one goal in mind: provide the best service possible to his neighbors so they felt like family. Your problem was his problem, so today it's our problem. Paul's service area is our home. It's where our kids go to school, where we shop, and where we get involved with community organizations. So if some out-of-town company knocks on your door and begins pressuring you to sign an agreement for termite or pest control, you can bet on a few things. Number 1, you'll never see that person again. Number 2, your technician is likely to change often. And number 3, your money will not stay in North Florida. These companies are sending your money to home offices in Atlanta, Orlando, Salt Lake City, or even Great Britain. Paul's Termite and Pest Control knows local means something to you. The health of your Tallahassee home, family, and pets is our number 1 priority. For the elimination of termites and pests and a greener lawn too, call your local company with local solutions. Paul's Termite and Pest Control.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orangetheory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orangetheory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orangetheory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orangetheory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Was ready to go.
Do you have your windows rolled down right now?
So beautiful right now. I do. And
Yeah.
you know what? I'm an anti-roll your windows down kind of guy. While
You
driving.
are?
I hate it. I don't want to be on the beach while I'm driving, man. I just chill out. I don't need all that breeze in my face. The air conditioner's for.
Well,
but I will tell you, now I do have a sunroof, so I did that yesterday. Yes.
It's usually about 50 to 55 miles an hour. That's the cutoff for the windows
Yeah, at
down.
some point when you're on the interstate, like what would you?
Interstate, absolutely. But if you're driving on Cap Circle, you're going 45,
Yeah,
50.
yeah.
That's plenty fine.
Definitely in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm all about it in the neighborhood. Yeah, slow. Take the long way home.
It's actually kind of, yes, that's right. It's kind of dangerous, though. The sunroof, if you want to take a look at the treetops when you drive, you're like, whoo! you know. So
I
you
don't
need
get
to
that
keep your-
distracted.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
I do. I mean, it is beautiful, but I don't get that distracted. I'm usually listening to a podcast or music. I'm enjoying the weather, but I'm locked in.
It's funny. The nicer the weather is, the lower the music gets. I almost just like the sound of it, even though there's no sound.
Well, there is sound if you're driving. You just...
Oh, but you know, you're not hearing the birds. Like it's like, I want to
yeah,
take
yeah.
in nature. It's like, well, you're not doing a natural thing, so
Yeah.
you're not taking in nature at all.
Hey, shine these for me here. I failed to comment on a couple of guys in the super chat, which I never like to ignore and always appreciate the contributions. Again, I won't grovel for them, but I certainly do appreciate them. I'll tell you that much. Noel Keb writes, wife asked me why I took $10,000 from the kids' college fund. I said, because Jeff Cameron, he's bouncing back this week, baby. We're going to be rich. Woo! That's right, Noel Kev. You get in there. I would take 20,000. Guys, grab every penny you have and gamble it on my suggestions. All of you should do that on a regular basis.
Or not.
It's up to you. You're a grown-up. I won't tell you what to do. You guys.
Our ass is in the jackpot now, okay?
You do what you want with your money. It's your money. Just be wise, right? Just be wise. Robert Benton writes, over under fun for you guys. Jordan total yards, 280 over. Because we're combining running and passing, correct? So I'm going to go over. It's going to have to be over if we're going to win.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
FSU, 175 total yards. I think you mean
rushing yards, I believe.
It has to be rushing, right? Well.
Yeah, there it is, the follow-up.
Oh, okay. There's follow-up. All right. I would just tell you this. Because I believe if now I'm talking like FSU's going to win the game. Here's where
it's okay. You're allowed to do that.
Here's where I'm headed with this. The answer is going to be over that number if they win, because Jordan's going to run and have some big time plays on the ground, and then that is going to set up some big time plays for the running backs, which then I would say over. I'm picking NC State to win the game, so my answer is if you think we're going to lose under 175 yards rushing. If you think we're going to win, go over.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's on you. I really am riding the fence here, guys. I apologize. I don't have a good feel for this game, and I think there's some weird things that are kind of out there that we're not – I don't mean that we're missing it in terms of analysis of the X's and O's. I mean that I can't be up at NC State. I can't see their practices, but I feel like something's wrong there.
Yeah, the rushing yardage one is much tougher for me because I think this game calls for misdirection. Just the way that NC State is constructed and the way that they've been burned is about misdirection plays. But that could be a toss pitch. That could be an end around. That could be a screen pass. It could be a whole bunch of different things. So I think the safer play would be to focus on Jordan's 280 total yards and play the over there, because that's the path to victory is through Jordan, in all ways.
Yes, it is.
Sounds religious. But the rushing and passing stuff, I think if you're talking about underneath passes plus rushing yards, sure, you're going to go over that number if you win. But, you can't do that when you place a wager only on rushing yards.
ISF is our partner for solving the future, and we're going to do it right now.
All right.
We're going to solve
that future.
We're going to solve for the future right now. I got a good question for you, and it's along the lines of what ISF does as an IT strategy firm.
Tomorrow is the future is today.
For 40 years, they've served state government and business clients across the nation. They are experts in government processes. They've worked with government agencies across the country and also right here in good old Tallahassee, Florida. And they successfully partner with their clients in a way that is very collaborative. They don't just walk in and say, hey, you need to do this. They know how to get around some problems that are holding you back, that vision that you have, but they are going to work collaboratively with you. And that's why a few weeks back we started doing it this way when we did this segment, which I would ask you guys a question and you guys answer in the chat, and I've really appreciated the feedback. So here's today's question, okay? Again, brought to you by our friends at ISF Solving the Future. You're sitting with Mike Norvell and Alex Atkins, let's say, okay, Tom? And you're in a planning session to talk about how to fix our biggest concerns right now. All right. It's a realistic conversation, right? Those concerns in my book would be kicking and offensive line. Okay. Right now, I'm just talking about those two in a room, not your defense coordinator's not there. We can have that discussion later. Right now, It's just an offensive meeting, Tom. So if that's the case, it's going to be kicking and offensive line. All right. Recommendations should always be based on capabilities to sustain, not pie in the sky, but realistic strategies you can implement with where you are currently, okay? So what 2 recommendations do we make to solve the kicking game and our offensive line issues? Realistically implemented right now by those guys, what could we do to improve these issues by, say, Clemson?
Man, well, I was hoping for an easy question.
No, but that's a pretty difficult one, right?
I'd say anything outside of the 15 as your yard marker to gain is always a go for 4 downs. So I'm cutting it off at 32 yards of a field goal attempt. 32 yards.
So you're going to solve the kicker situation by not kicking?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's actually the only way to do it right now.
Do you think he believes that?
No.
I don't care what he says publicly.
No,
Do
I
you
don't think he
believe that
does.
he is posturing there, or do you think that he does no longer – you think he's going to keep rolling him out there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think if it's inside 40, I think if it's so 40 puts you where? The 22 or 23-yard line, a 40-yard attempt?
17 yards from the placement of the ball, yes.
Yeah, 7. Yeah.
Well, I mean, count the end zone for 10. You
Right,
see what I'm
yeah,
saying? I'm
7,
talking about
8,
this.
yeah,
Yes.
So that puts you right outside the red zone that you would be in 4-down territory.
Correct.
I think if you are at the 18-yard line and it's 4th and 3, he may very well kick in that situation. I would recommend in this meeting
not kicking
unless you get inside the 15-yard line.
And then for the offensive line, you answered my question last segment because I have an answer. One of them happens to be playing the freshman on the right side because the guy you're playing now isn't very good. But that said, I also understand and find it extremely reasonable to not play that guy. I understand both arguments. I just think, unlike previous players that we've had to play and in many cases may have ruined, he's built different, both mentally and physically.
I agree. I think the solution by Clemson is to ensure Robert Scott is as healthy as possible. So that means he's in danger of re-injury. Don't play him this week. If you believe that would make a difference for Clemson.
If you believe that. I don't know, man. I hope he's good to go and feeling
I
froggy.
agree. Then at that point, I look at right guard and right tackle of Emmanuel, Jazz, and Darius, and I just say that every week is a battle for 2 jobs for 3 guys. And whoever's playing the best each week gets the 2 jobs. And then you're on short notice that you could come out at any point.
You damn
because
right.
Jazz at right guard is not like if you had Jazz at right guard and Darius at right tackle, that's not a terrible solution.
It's not. Darius isn't very good. But
Darius is inconsistent. There are games where you say, hey man, you know what? That actually looked a little bit better than Robert does it. That was Louisvile. And then there was last week and you go, good God.
It's just because we don't have good tackles.
You're asking me, the problem is these are 2 things that don't have a solution.
Well,
so we're coming up with the best possible way to get by.
We cannot solve our kicking issues without replacing the kicker. It doesn't seem. Now, Mike, if he's in this room, may have a fundamental disagreement with both of us. He might say, no, I saw him go 10 of 13 a year ago. I've seen him make 58-yarders in practice. He was a good kicker in high school, period. He was, full stop. And I believe at some point he'll be a good kicker again. I got to keep running him out there. I know it seems fruitless currently, but if that ability is in there, that's a lot different than never having seen a guy play well. Yeah. I mean, he's seen him play well. So that's his argument countering ours. I think at some point you do cut bait. I mean, at some point there's a place of no return. The Bucs did it with Roberto Aguayo. Yes, great. Roberto Aguayo made every kick in the world in college, save for like 1 or 2, and was the best kicker in the nation, period. He was. Until he wasn't.
Right.
Until he couldn't make a kick to save your life. Period. And they cut him. You suck. Goodbye. And he didn't make it anywhere else.
Yeah, the hard part too is I'm not going to even pretend to try and restructure the way they do practice. I'm not going to sit in this chair and try and do that. But it's just very difficult that in a typical Florida State practice, you've got 5 to 7 field goal opportunities that are fully lined up in 11 on 11.
Right.
It's not a ton of reps to evaluate with, but that's also, look, they've got to get to other stuff that's more important for most plays. So I don't know what you do. I don't know how you could create
an environment
urgency if they're on their own and they're kicking. You know what I mean?
You really can. And you know, this is interesting because we equate a little bit with kicking like the golf swing, right? guy's a great player, and then one day he can't hit it straight off the tee. This is why golf's so hard. This happens to pros. This happens to guys on the damn tour. All they do is hit golf balls, right? So I get how it can happen, and it sucks if it's happening to you because it seems, when you're playing well, they say this a lot about both, endeavors, but let's say my golf analogy holds here. When you're playing well, you don't see a way that you'll ever play bad. When you're playing poorly, you don't see a way that you're ever going to play well again.
Yeah.
When you shoot a 110 out of nowhere, you're like, oh, well, I don't know that I'm ever going to be able to do this well again. I mean, it can go on for weeks.
I think if you shoot a second 110, the first one
you're
go,
like, oh my God,
ridiculous.
I had the yips today or whatever. Yeah.
But he come back with 107 and you're trying really, really hard.
You start getting scared. You're like, what's going on here?
I don't know if going to the range makes it better or worse.
Right.
I don't
Maybe
know.
walk away for a month. Yeah. You just don't even know what to do.
There's a game next Saturday as your kicker.
That's the problem. Is right. But when they do that, they always talk about trying to put yourself in a position where you feel pressure. So you have to do something. There has to be something at stake.
Mm-hmm. Your scholarship.
In this case. But what I would tell you,
like at a Tuesday practice.
And you also can't pull the scholarship. But what I would tell you is that I think that's a fallacy. I hear coaches say this all the time. Oh, we put them in situations that replicate. No, you don't. There's no such thing.
Right.
You cannot replicate in a practice what is going to happen in a game or the nerves you feel in a game as opposed to a practice. And you can't do it on the range either.
But if you win the Powerball, you could bring a briefcase to practice and throw it underneath the goalposts and say, here you go.
If you win the Powerball, you could do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I go get Howie Mandel. Do you want to open the case? Make the kick. Briley asked a question, and he said, because I'm interested in your answer on this.
Okay.
My answer was inside the 15, you can kick it.
Inside the 15, you can kick it.
Right.
It's almost impossible to miss.
But it's got to be fourth and
he did miss a 29-yard.
Fourth and decent. I know he did. I know, but we got to kick something.
Yeah.
And I would probably say 4th and 4 and more for sure. 4th and 3 is close. 4th and 2, you may want to go for it. But inside the what yard line would you go for it always at this point?
I'm sorry, what
so let's say inside the 8-yard line, the +8, the +6, the +4. Where would you always go for it? Or would you actually kick it from any one of those places?
If it's 4th and 8, 4th and goal from the 8, I'm kicking a field goal.
Still? Okay. All right.
Yes, I'm kicking a field goal there. And if he misses it, it makes it very easy for me moving forward. We're done here. We are just done. You can't make an extra point. We're done. That's the end of that. I'm not kicking anymore. Or if I am, it's with somebody else. Mm-hmm. I've already suggested that the walk-on, who may not be any good at all, can make an extra point. So if you get to a point, and I've seen him, so if you get to a point where this kid is so shot mentally, bless his heart and all that stuff, we're trying to win some damn games, so I don't have time to coddle. If he can't make it, go run the damn walk on. What are we doing? Yeah. Why would you, if you last week decided you can't run him out there for an extra point and you go for 2?
That apparently was an analytics decision and not an extra point decision. I don't know.
Okay.
At the 13, when we scored our 13th point, the bid for 2 was an analytics decision about shrinking possessions. If they kick a field goal, you're still
okay. Yeah. Well, I disagree with it, but anyhow, I disagree.
And you're much more
I'm much more inclined to
me.
do. That's right. Yeah. No, I disagree with that decision. That actually, I don't even know if I believe that. It may have been said, but I don't know if I believe that. Anyhow, that said, here's the deal: if you can't trust him to make an extra point, you can. At that point, you do have to roll out the walk on. And if he can't make an extra point, well, then hell, all the decisions are made for you at this point forward. You're just never kicking. Just go for it from the 5, from the 7.
There's
from the
freedom in that.
There is.
Yeah.
Because it changes the way you can call plays on second and third down.
Yeah. Even first down.
Well, correct.
You can take a shot on first down because what the hell do I care?
What do I care? I'm going for it on 4th down either way. Yes, there is freedom, but you have to decide beforehand. It's like betting in Vegas, and if you're playing blackjack, you know you're hitting on 16 or you're not. And here we go, right? So it's interesting. It is interesting. It's fun. And
there was no solution.
Yeah, you had a solution. You gave me an answer. So did several people in the chat, and I appreciate that.
Gave you an answer.
Well, those weren't great answers. They were logical answers. They didn't make you feel better.
So you want to be a legislator. Here you go. No great answers. Give me the least bad one.
Once the right process is defined and you need the technological solutions that ISF is providing in place to support your needs both now and in the future, there you go. That's my friends at ISF. They got you covered. Check them out if you want to learn more. ISF.com. We thank them for being partners with the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, and Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Quincy Police Department is searching for a suspect that aimed a firearm at a QPD officer Monday evening in Quincy. QPD officer responded to the area of Key Street and Clark Street due to Keith Akeem Kinder, 33, riding an electric scooter, cutting off multiple vehicles. Kinder aimed a firearm at the officer as he fled the scene. Kinder is also reportedly known as Jasmine Cloud. There is an active warrant for Kinder's arrest for aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer and resisting arrest with violence. If anyone has information regarding Kinder's whereabouts, contact QPD at 850-627-7111 or to remain anonymous, call Big Ben Crime Stoppers at 850-574-TIPS. On Friday, October 28th, the Tallahassee Symphony Orchestra will be holding their spooktacular event at Cascades Park. The festivities start at 6 and they will have trick-or-treating, and then TSO will be treating the crowds to a free concert featuring spooky favorite music such as Thriller and the Ghostbusters. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MaclemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. High of 85 this afternoon. Under clear skies, winds out of the northwest, around 5 miles per hour. Clear skies and quiet again tonight. Lows level off around 55. Sunny skies tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 87. Highs level off around 87 Saturday under mainly sunny skies. 86 Sunday. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 86.
Your body is a masterpiece designed to heal itself from within. Learn how to maximize your health by tuning in to Phenomenal Health with me, Dr. Ryan Finn. Saturdays at 2:30. Experience true health today and call Finn Chiropractic at 386-7700.
Your next chance to win $1,000 is coming up at 3 p.m. Don't miss your chance to shake the 93.3 money tree and see what falls out. Planted by the law offices of Basic Brooks. Come back stronger with Basic Brooks.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
We need to have history. We need to have literature. It deserves an explanation. We don't need to be promoting lifestyles that come into play for your average elementary school.
Well, I had an experience with this. When my daughter was in school, her teacher gave her a book to read, but then she asked me what the C word is.
That was in the book.
That was in the book.
Okay, so talking about the C word. So you're talking about conservatives, right?
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orangetheory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at Orangetheoryfitness.com.
Be the game tonight, by the way. I love football and I want to watch it.
I don't even know what the game is.
Oh, Denver and the Colts.
Ooh,
those two teams are garbage.
The Manning Bowl.
It's a hard game to watch, man. 10-7.
Yeah, maybe baseball can wrap up their season on a Tuesday next year. Although I'm sure that this bleed over had to do with the, labor dispute because the World Series is going into November.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to have playoff baseball tonight. That would be fun.
Well, we sure get it on Friday. Tomorrow, we'll get it at noon, buddy, like right off the bat. Isn't that when the Rays play right off the bat?
Yeah,
we have that.
And then the Phillies play at 2 o'clock, so Director will be sweating bullets for the final hour of the week.
12:07 Rays in Cleveland, and then Philadelphia and St. Louis, 2:07 p.m. You are correct. And then that's on ABC, by the way. And Seattle at Toronto at 4:07.
Interesting series.
That's a really interesting series. I like that Seattle team. San Diego at your Mets, 8:07 p.m. And look at that matchup. Yu Darvish and Max Scherzer.
Is that who we named?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You went with him out the gates.
Okay.
Short series, man.
Yeah. Well, I thought it might be DeGrom because DeGrom had pitched the Friday before.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, by the way, you don't play on Saturday. You play on Friday. So that's it. You don't have a game Saturday. Am I seeing that correctly?
No, we play.
You are correct. It just that's weird. It didn't populate it.
No, of course it's it's
right.
7:30 on Saturday.
That's what it is. Of course it is. That's right. You were already frustrated by that. Yeah, it's 3 days in a row. You're right. It's 3 days in a row. Yeah. How glorious is this though, buddy? You're the 7:00 primetime game on a Sunday if it goes that far.
Well, I don't want to be
7:37. How nervous will you be then? Huh?
I won't be. You win the first two. And we're just worrying about Tuesday.
Yeah, I know. I love it. I think that all of this sets up nicely. I'm excited about Seattle, Toronto, oddly, I know. But Castillo and Manoah going at each other in that first game, that's a good one. And I'm excited about Zach Wheeler against former Pirate Jose Quintana. Man, that creep can roll. I think Philadelphia should win that game.
So if you were filling out a wild card bracket, who would you pick? Maybe that could be in place of probables for today, seeing as there are no probables because there is no baseball.
Well, Big Daddy J will make an appearance again here soon. We'll have to start doing it. I mean, I think it's far enough away with the Red Russians. We
They're just announcing annexation of
territories.
territories.
Everybody gets it. We're not celebrating Russia. It's the Red Russians is the individual Big Daddy J who happens to be a citizen. Citizens are not the problem, dude.
Are you sure about that?
It's the government. Oh man, we're not doing it today. You don't have to hit Big Daddy J. You were thinking about it. You don't have to hit it today. Maybe we'll lessen the blow with something different. Maybe because you don't want to play the anthem. I see where you're going.
That's what it is, right? That's all that dude hears when he wakes up over there in the Kremlin.
Oh my goodness gracious! You know what I did do? I will. We have to do prize picks tomorrow. And I did a little, let me pull this up here. Let's see how we're doing, Tom. I like to do this for folks who asked earlier in the week. I should have done this already. Let's see. I've got 3 entries. Oh, I didn't realize that.
I am 0 for the season in prize picks. Can you believe that?
Are you really?
Yeah.
Taking an ass kicking.
Yeah. I mean.
All right. Let me look at.
Don't send me to a game of any meaning, folks. Anywhere. Right now. It's cold right now in this house.
That's funny. Well, I've been right there with you, buddy. It's been very, very frustrating. All right. I am currently in 78th place. That's a good sign early on. That means I'm doing some things at the Shriners. I got down on the Shriners early in the week. I was very excited, buddy. TPC someone? What's wrong with you?
It just sounds like Wedding Crashers 2 getting down at the Shriners.
I got down at the Shriners. Montgomery hasn't teed off for me yet, but I have Siwoo Kim. Where is Siwoo? Oh, baby, Siwoo Kim, I'm loving you. -7 on the day. Siwoo. 1 stroke off the pace.
Siwoo birdie.
Loving some Siwoo Kim. All right. So I have Siwoo Kim. I have Poston. I don't know what he's doing yet. I do have Thomas Dietrich, who has been playing well lately. Let's see where old Dietrich. Oh, there's a little -4 for Dietrich. All right, Tommy, we're doing some things here.
I'm giving you the probables music for the rundown here.
I got Taylor Moore. Taylor Moore is -2 out on the course, 2 to play. All right. And Kurt Kitayama. I took Kitayama, Tom, because he played at UNLV. This is where you got to have course knowledge. He played at UNLV. Tournaments in Las Vegas. See me working here? Kurt Kitayama, probably on nobody's radar, 1 under through the front 9 right now. So, all right, Kurt.
All right. It's a good start.
We're off to a good look at my man, Siwoo. Siwoo Kim and I have a very special relationship.
Is he still playing?
He's on 17. He's got a chance.
So if he makes birdie on the final hole,
he's a leader in the clubhouse.
He'll have a Delta 8 under of the day.
I like it. You did the right thing. You got that up there. I cannot ignore my friends at Tallulah CBD and Juice Bar. You know, she asked me, the owner did, to hurry up and get my butt over there to float in the salt water. To do the weightlessness. She said it's going to change my life.
Oh, really?
I said, I'm ready.
Well, it's the bye week. We talked about the
yeah,
bye week. Yeah.
It's also healing, for athletes. So you get in there, you heal up while you float. Maybe.
Then why aren't we there?
Partaking a little Delta 8.
Why has Fabian not been there for weeks?
Well, I don't know if they've paid to do it or not.
Okay. I think somebody can afford it.
I want to float. I'm ready to float. Tallulah, I'm coming to see you at Railroad Square. I'm going to float around. Can I get a special float? I mean, I don't fancy myself as unique, but, I've got a platform. How about I float for 3 hours and everybody else only gets to float for like 30 minutes or an hour? I want to float for 3 hours.
And their 30 minutes is your break between the 3 hours.
Yeah,
so
I get up. Woo!
after an hour and a half, better get in there.
A little break from all that floating.
Clock's running.
Yeah. That's it. You're in and out. You got 30 minutes to come jump back in the tub. The pod. It is a pod. I'm really excited about that too because you can customize it. Did you know that? Some people can't handle the silence. Some people have to have loud music.
That is my wife, Jamie. Doesn't like the silence. Our house is very quiet. Very quiet. She does not like it. So there's got to be something going on.
She got to meditate.
Me, I'm good. Like, ooh, you hear that? That's nothing.
Well, first of all, that's because there's a lot of rat trapping going on there, man. Denial of death, all that stuff. That's the stuff our brain is always distracting us. Hey, don't think about this. Don't think about the fact that this is finite. Don't think about the fact that everybody's going to die. It's constant. You got to tell your brain to shut up.
That's what I need to hear right now. Yeah.
I'm just telling you. That's like we do it all our whole lives. Good work out of you, sir. Good work, Director Matthew. Be well, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow on a Live Asians Friday. Let's get it.